Good afternoon,
Hey, good
everyone.
afternoon.
And we are coming live from Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world, one of the best places to ever go. And I have with me the coach of champions, my head coach, one of my best mates, my Filipino brother. Kumusta, coach? Ano
Kumusta?
balita?
Very good. I worked out this early too,
Yes,
because that's the mindset right there. The mindset has to be right and tight, and you're ready to go. And that's what you did this morning.
Yes, of course. So I knew we had a big day today, so I
Yeah.
got up early, had my workout, and we're going to talk about some very, very important shit today. So, most of the topics here are going to be about society and culture because you need to know about society and culture, especially now to be your best self. And I feel that the the teenagers, mostly the young, the adolescents, they have the most difficult time right now because I feel that there's so much influence in the world, but there's not enough good influence. And I really can't imagine what it's like being an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old right now. So the things that we're going to talk about is going to help these people with to find themselves and to feel more centered within themselves because I feel, and I'm sure I'm not the only one at this. There is a sickness in society today. There is something wrong with society, and I believe that there is a huge lack of heart and soul in society. And you can see that by there are so many avenues now to express yourself and everything like that, but you do not see anything that helps you with character development or helps you become a better person. Nobody's promoting to do good things and to be a good person, and I think that's really what's missing in today's world. So we are here, and I am here to for the young, for you guys. What are you struggling with? I want to know, and I will be here. We will be here to give you the best advice. So many of our topics going to be including that. So, but yes, coach, what do you think? Do you feel that there is a lack of heart and soul in today's society?
It's a different time, right? So it's like I was just listening to some YouTubes, and they're mentioning about different generations, and I understand where there was back in the beginning, and how there was war and struggle, and uh, I understand, but the major factor is there's a lot of changes happening now,
Yes.
and I think people are not aware of it,
Yes.
and it's kind of dangerous.
Yes. I think, I mean, if you talk to anyone of any generation, they will always say the next generation is this and this and that. So it's very, very normal. But I think also with everything that's going on, our world is very social media now. It's very entertainment, very internet based. But I think what's very, very important for the young guys and even young women is is not to be so malleable, which that means is not to be so easily influenced. And for you not to be easily influenced, that really comes from knowing who you are as a person. Because I feel that the only reason why some people are so easily influenced is because they don't know who they are. They have no morals of their own, no strong character, no principles that they follow. Therefore, they get easily just taken away by whatever. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important. I think one of our most important messages is get to know yourself. Get to
Yes,
know yourself,
yes.
and what do you like, what do you don't like, what do you agree with, what do you not agree with. And stick to that. And stick to that, and be true to yourself. And I know in this world now, there's a lot of pressure for. I can imagine the pressure for teenagers and young men to reach like the standard or whatever because, oh, if I'm not here, then I'm not anything. But that's not really the case, man. Like I'm sure if you were to, be with yourself and discover more about yourself, you won't be influenced because you'll be proud and definitely centered within yourself. Being proud of yourself is also a very important thing,
Yeah,
right? What do you think about that,
confidence.
coach? Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
confidence. A lot of I deal with the students every day. Not the students, even in the outside world, even in the public.
yes,
Uh, and you know, I'm a psychologist guy. I'm
yes.
not certified, but I'm not a professor, but I do study about the mind and the
Yes.
philosophy, and it's just sometimes there's so much influence, and a lot of people are very gullible,
Yes.
and what they see, they believe,
Yes.
and they don't test. They never really experience it or know if it's real or not
Yes.
real, and that's one of the issues too.
Yes. I agree. Like there's so many, it's easy to be lost within these things. But I mean, as a coach, as a
Oh.
coach of champions, as
Mm.
you are, what are characteristics of I guess a champion? So it's because I believe if you have characteristics of a champion, it just goes back to discipline. And I think discipline is one of the most, you know,
100%.
right? It's so
Yeah.
fundamental yet so easy, and nobody can do it. But it's so odd because when I
Yeah.
talk to certain people and I ask them, they're like trying to change their lives or whatever, and then I get to know them, get to talk to them and everything, and then you kind of notice that they have a hard time doing discipline for good things, but when it comes to bad things, they're super disciplined in that, which makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just need to. It's about discipline and and what you prioritize.
I mean, let's give an example. Everybody, if you don't have a goal, you're gonna have problems.
Right.
If you have a goal, then you have something to work towards to. And all of us, we have different goals in life.
Yes.
You could be a professional, lawyer, doctor, singer, whatever you want to do in life. The thing is, you have to have a goal. That's the one thing. And one thing I do understand is that when you create goals, even if it's something, let's say you created a goal and it didn't work out, then you can always make those adjustments in life, because life is all about also making mistakes,
Yes.
and we all make that. And so,
Right.
and we fear of being out there, being transparent, and it's important that you're true to yourself,
Yes.
and that's where you grow,
Hmm.
because it's painful sometimes.
Right. And I don't think you should ever be afraid of making mistakes or or anything like that. And I mean, everybody knows that we grow the most through situations that are very uncomfortable, or things that hurt us, so to speak. That is where we grow the most. Only if we choose to look within ourselves and see what our doing in that situation was, because the weakest mindset is a victim one. So if you go around blaming everybody, oh, it's not me, it's this and that, and you never take the time to
And
self-reflect,
we used to be victims.
huh?
I mean, you're a victim a long time ago
Right,
of yourself. I was a
exactly,
victim of myself.
exactly.
Things like people told me that I couldn't do. Now I'm doing like some incredible shit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, same with you.
Yeah, it's just you have to. I personally, I always prioritize self growth. So whatever situation I'm in, I always say, okay, what can I learn from it? How can I grow from it? Because there's always something you can see, but it's always when it's difficult. I mean, I would rather you embrace that, because for sure you're going to get better and you're going to grow. And self growth is very important, because you will grow as an individual and you will never have you'll never repeat the same things, because you're always growing and you're always understanding. And I think that is another concept the youth should kind of do today, don't you think?
Yes, self growth is it's everything and everything.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
It has to be
yeah,
not just physical, it has to be
Yeah.
mental, and also, I think a lot of people neglect this. There's no life complete without spiritual side, you know what I mean? And that could be whatever you want it to be. It could be universe, God, whatever, but you
the
need to
money.
have a spiritual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? You need to
Tamara.
have a spiritual aspect, because you
Yes,
won't be
yes.
complete.
Yeah.
You'll have a missing feeling. And how do I know this? Because I know I've been there. So the things that I talk about, I've been there, so I can understand
Yeah.
the struggles and what's
Yeah.
going on. For instance, that a lot of I'm very involved in society and culture.
So like, the bang pain mo
uh,
that made the change, the difficult change. Like, when was that time where you're like, I need to change to make a difference in my life? When was that, Josh?
you always have to look back, and you'll always find that I shouldn't have done that. That one was kind of that was my fault, or again, you can't be afraid, and you can't not give yourself the self-reflection. You have to know when this. I did this wrong, but it's okay. I could learn
Accept
from
more.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
And you make the decision, and you dedicate yourself to be a better person, and that's very, very important. And, you just can't, a lot of people, they just either they don't want to move forward
Oh.
or they're just too afraid to do things.
Mahirap.
Right, of course. And
Yeah.
anything that's hard, mahirap, is
Yeah.
definitely going to be worth it also,
I say that in French.
What do you want?
Difficult.
Difficile.
Oh,
C'est pas difficile. C'est pas difficile. Dans la vie, c'est pas difficile.
Yeah.
In life, it's not hard, So, but I think, let's say, for example, I speak to a lot of men now, and I think you, as a coach, and you coaches a lot of people, you kind of notice the men are a little bit, I wouldn't say, I mean, I dare to say, they're a little bit weaker nowadays.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They have a
Yeah.
weaker mindset. They're kind of unsure about themselves.
Yes.
And a lot of society and culture issues. I talk to a lot of people. A lot of issues they have are looking for their dating stuff. Like dating stuff. And I think a lot of the men, they just kind of forgot to develop themselves and to be to develop it for them. I think they're trying to a little too much to reach this mythical level. Like, I have to be at this level to matter.
I think the one that really very challenging through times is that when you have the artificial intelligence and all the advance in technology, man, if you want to order something, you just like press the button. You used to like walk to the store.
I know. I was actually talking about that. I can't remember the last time I went to like Target or even to get. I always just do the apps now. So
What do you think of that?
huh?
What do you think of that?
I mean, again, like the world will always change, and it's very technological. I enjoy it. I enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't take part of what's in the world now. You know what I mean? Social media, all these things, they are part of our world now. So yes, do it and all that, but it's just very important not to lose yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel there's a lot of people that don't even know themselves, or they lose themselves, or they look up to the wrong people. Like I think
That's dangerous.
right. Because
Yeah.
one thing I noticed also is that there's so many different, quote unquote, influential people that don't do anything or don't like have any good real morals or like that. You're not
Wala.
teaching the youth to do good things.
Yeah.
These are all just useless, mindless entertainment things, which is fine. But in the long run, even if you want to be a long-term influencer, your best bet is to add value to lives.
And
You know what I
protect your
mean?
mind.
Right, that's a
Whatever
very,
you
very
put in here.
Yes, like if you're gonna get involved in and if you're gonna get involved in all these things, make sure you have a strong mind and make sure you know who you are, so you won't be corrupt. Because
Yeah.
look at like how, just how the internet stuff for the guys, the girls are all just doing things that are not. There's no.
Madali,
It's
eh.
immoral. It's
Yeah.
immoral. Low principle, like
Yeah.
low value behavior. It's just not good behavior, and it's glorified in a way which I don't understand.
Yeah, that that comes with exploitation.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Exploitation is like finding somebody's weakness too,
Yes.
and then attack you from there. And
Right.
that's what's happening to society now.
Right. And it's all because they're just disconnected from themselves. I feel that they're just very disconnected from things that mean a lot. The things that help. They're just so disconnected, and nobody really cares about anybody else but themselves. And I think it's a very important thing to do things for other people just because it's the right thing to do.
And I get it. Like, if you want to take care of yourself, that's fine.
Right. Exactly.
And then contribute, like having time with yourself, do it.
Yes.
But if you can, like, there's time for everything,
Mm-hmm.
but there should be time for yourself, and then time to get back to the community.
Like you have to, I'll be very, very, put it bluntly, you have to give a shit about the world that we all share, man. You know what I mean? Like I always hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I want this," or "Please God, please universe, give me this," that. But then I ask you, what do you do for the world to deserve what you're asking for? The answer is pretty much nothing.
And they don't
You know
even
what I
know
mean?
why they want it for.
Exactly. There's, all these people want fame and all these things. But what are you going to do with the fame when you get it? Nothing. You're probably just going to squander it away and do nothing meaningful. You know what I mean? The coolest thing in the world to be is a fucking good person, man, because nobody can touch that. Because good people are missing nowadays, and our purpose here is to try to create more good people. You know, good people with good hearts, good souls, good mindsets, good principles, good morals, so they can influence the young to be better and not just like this. Let's just Xerox copy everyone's stupidity and make it more and more and more stupid. You know?
And you know what? I was listening to Dana White. He mentioned in the interview that everything that he was doing was for the love and this time with his family.
Yes.
Pero he didn't really worry about that. He said, "I do this so I can have more time with my family,
Right. Exactly.
my loved ones."
Like when you reach a certain, you know, if your purpose is larger than anything, like for me, for example, I'm not doing this for any monetary value. You know, like if it comes or whatever comes with it, okay, whatever, I'll take it. But for me, it's just having purpose is the fuel for your life. You know, for me, and my purpose is to just try to help the youth and try to create better people. You know, that's why we're here. You know, it's not. I'm not doing it to be famous. I'm not doing it to get money. If it comes, all right, I'll take it. But ultimately, the goal is to just help humanity.
Where did you start? Like, you know, I know we're having this conversation, but like, you're like aware that what's going on is like, this is not good. This stigma.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. I just observe society and culture. I observe, you know, like people in their adolescent
Start to
ages.
notice.
Yes, you know,
Yeah.
I just notice how people carry themselves, and I kind of course, we're all on Instagram, whatever. We kind
Yeah.
of see what's going on, and I just feel, you know, I just couldn't stay silent anymore, and I just feel that there's such a huge disconnect in the world, and nobody could really connect on a deep level with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's the times are different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I tell you, we're all responsible and accountable for all our actions we take to ourselves and to society,
Mm-hmm.
because that reflects everything.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
It's hard. You know, like there's days you want to do it, there's days you don't want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the real struggle is that am I doing good in this world, or am I contributing to make myself better?
Right. And I think also you need to ask yourself, are you doing what you want to do in this world? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, we get stuck in places. I remember I mean, I'm not talking about it. Every experience I had, I enjoyed it, you know? So I remember a period in time when I used to have a job. I used to run a supplement store and all that. And I used to be in that place for like 10 hours a day for 5, 6 days a week. And I remember it was good, you know, but I remember, I could be doing so much more. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm not that type of person, you know, and I decided to leave then, and then I decided to develop myself. And now you know, as you know,
Yeah.
I could do so many different things. You know, I have so many different
That was
talents.
your breakthrough.
Kind of, you know what I mean? I think that you need to, like, my point being is that I wouldn't have never discovered and got good at any of those talents, including MMA with you,
Oh.
unless I decided to get out of there and you know, explore my own life and do my own thing.
Yeah.
You know, and because of that, I developed, you know, so many aspects. I speak 5 languages. I fence.
Travel the world.
I do MMA. I travel the world. I do gymnastics. There are so many different things I do, but I wouldn't have done any of those things if I didn't leave. If I didn't follow what I was feeling inside. You know, I left and I followed my own life, and now I'm the happiest man alive, bro. You know what I mean? Like I love my life every day. Every day, I don't even necessarily need anymore. I'm just already good as it is. You know?
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Wow.
You know, I have good people in my life too. I have good you, and I think that's another important thing we discussed about is the environment you're in. Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
The environment you're in is very like the people you're around. Correct.
Careful. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, like, as a, you know, I think we'll go back to it. As a coach, what are the characteristics of a champion that you look for when you train people? What are those key things that make you say, this guy is a champion, or this guy, I could go somewhere with this guy, or this guy has it? For you as a coach, a high level coach, UFC coach, you know, professional boxing coach, what are those characteristics that you see?
The all coaches especially at that level, at this level. We look for somebody that has the heart,
Heart.
you know, that may hit up
Mm-hmm.
that when you're getting pushed to a real different level that you never experienced,
Yes.
you're gonna be tested. Your tolerance, because like that's the thing. It's like if you don't have a heart and you take a little bit of beating, you're gonna quit. And
Mm-hmm.
these guys, and that's the reflection of like life, and greatness is that um, you know it's gonna be really tough. So what I look for is he is he gonna get up? Is he gonna fight back?
Mm-hmm.
Or did he learn his lesson and he's gonna show up? That's what happened to me. I got my ass kicked every time, and then I just got really, really good.
Right. That's how you. That's how you
Yeah,
learn.
I just didn't want to.
Yes.
And I don't know. I grew up. I never quit.
Yes.
It just is not in me to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I know I tried other things in life, like break dancing
Yes.
and other things, but martial arts just became part of my life. But when we look at these fighters, we want to see what the fighter does. We want to see what does he study. We want to see, does he hang out with the wrong or the right people?
Right. Yes.
Does he take our advice lightly, or does he work on his homework? And then does he, does he watch what he eat? Does he, is and no fighter is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like the champions, everybody has a weakness,
Right.
right? And like, yeah, chocolate and all that stuff, it's fine. Um, Being around the right people is important too.
Yes.
And I seen that both the good and the very bad. It's just there's people there like, pretenders.
Yes.
Then they're fake gurus,
Mm-hmm.
and until they really like put them in that place, and then they break. It's really tough, right? It's really tough. Your attitude has a fighter, your heart has a fighter, because I seen many guys where, they're like super super intimidating, and they still get their ass kicked, in the UFC.
Right.
But a skinny guy, and it's like, whoa, or in a boxing match, and it's like, damn. And so you never underestimate anybody, but everything counts: your character, your attitude, how you carry yourself. That goes in a long way. For me, it's both different from both. Like, so I know, like, if it's business, you can become a champion in business. Just do your best, do everything you can, and be consistent. And that's what a fighter is, consistent, never give up, and maintain, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Made up to see, the training is hard. Like, I was training since I was 7. I'm like, almost like 40. I'm gonna be almost in my 50s. So I was like, damn. But the consistency you can see, and having good mentors too helped me a lot. I look for the good mentors, and that catapult me to a higher level.
Okay.
That I knew this. Everybody tell themselves they have this thing called a coach, and they ain't nobody. You gotta test them.
Yeah.
So same thing with fighters. Like, I remember when you started. Remember, it was tough. It's like, fuck, and everybody was jumping on you, and you fought back. It's like, okay, this guy, he could take a beating.
Right.
My first
Remember,
beating.
remember Edison, the
Yeah,
heavyweight?
yeah.
And he's like, oh, this
Yeah,
guy's pretty
remember
game.
you got kicked in the face, and you're like blood everywhere, and you're like, fuck, let's go. It's like, okay, this guy. The same thing happened to me. I got hit in the face with a heavyweight. I was bleeding everywhere. He said, take me down. I took him down, and I said, you're special. I said, yeah, bro. It's a different time, and just I don't know about weak, but yeah.
Let's talk
this is
about, you
soft.
mentioned mentors. Let's talk about the mentors, and we'll go back to the environment.
Oh.
So what is who to you as a mentor yourself? You know,
Oh,
what is an effective mentor? How would someone choose a good mentor?
pretty simple. First, what's the subject you want to learn?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then find out who's a really good mentor that has a lot of experience, that's been around. People got Google.
Yes.
You can just go Google and research those professors, coaches, and just research them, because in the end of the day, there's a lot of good mentors.
Yes.
They're willing to help, and they might not be knowledgeable, but they're willing to help you and maybe pass you on if you ask the right question.
Right.
They'll put you to a better coach that's gonna transcend you to a different level of training and mindset. But finding a good mentor is very important at this time of age,
Yes.
because everything counts.
Yes.
Time counts, your education counts, your
Mhm.
intellectual, what you think in your head, what you put in your head, it has to be right. Even at this time, it's crazy. I still work with like the best coaches, and that's a blessing, because I'm always learning. I just learned something the other day, and I never thought about it, but I won't tell nobody. But it was a secret. I was like, oh, I experienced that, because we tried to fight this guy, and it was a championship fight, and there was something I didn't notice until the higher level coach, mentor, he was really good with many world champions, and he just explained it to me, and I remember it's like, okay, I have to take that to account. I never experienced that. I didn't, not the experience part. I didn't know that was happening
Mm-hmm.
after the fight. Observed niya,
Mm-hmm.
because he got more world champions than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just listened to him. But you know what? That's like, you don't get that kind of stuff in school. You don't get that kind of stuff you get that kind of stuff being around greatness.
Right.
Because you just listen.
Right.
You don't talk shit. You just pay attention. And then you make the judgment if it's wrong or right. Because in the end of the day, you make that decision, especially if you're a coach or a trainer or a teacher. Importante yun. You
Right.
can't take that lightly.
So it's also I think it's also important to distinguish that your environment is not only limited to mentors; it's also your friends,
Yeah.
who your mates are, who your girlfriend is, and who you're around on a regular basis. That's gonna make a huge difference where you're gonna go.
It's like your fencing coach.
Yes, exactly. So I also, yes, my fencing coach was a huge influence in my life. You are like, all my coaches were, and that's another reason you should always. Actually, this comes to my another point. If as we were talking about, environment's important, right? And I've always advised younger kids or whatever. One of the best environments to be in is in a sport environment. You know what I mean? For me, like, my advice to any kid, whoever, get into a sport, bro. You know why? Because you're going to get in shape, which is a plus for women and yourself. You're going to have a skill, which is another plus. You're going to learn discipline. You're going to learn perseverance. You're going to learn teamwork. Like, for me, when I used to fence, I got all the characteristics I have until now come from sports. Practice.
Kahit iba naman eh. Like, iba-ibang sport. Any sport.
Yes, exactly. It could be anything. Like, get into something that would help you develop these characteristics that would help you be a champion in the sport or a champion in life. You know
Yeah,
what I
as
mean?
long as you're able to know that, sometimes, yeah, you feel doing something, but sport is important. Kahit ano, tennis, ping pong.
Right. I think it's the best. I think it's one of the best things that you can do to develop yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to be, you don't have to go, you don't have to have Olympic dreams, but
Go hardcore.
yeah, just
Yeah.
be around there and be, it's a.
Yeah.
I'm an athlete, so sports for me is just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine not doing anything athletic. You know what I mean? I can't
That's
imagine
like
not
me.
working out. Like I don't understand that.
I can't sit in my ass. I have to do something. Like, man, I like training. I love training, and I'll never stop training until
It's-
I die.
Exactly. You know, why would you stop
Yeah.
training, man?
Yeah.
So yeah, so environments and mentors are important. What about the one of this is a very actually one of the most popular topics nowadays is
Oh.
people that with their dating lives and stuff.
Oh.
And let's
Yeah.
say that is a huge um, factor in how everything's going to be. Also, correct? Choosing who your
Yeah.
significant partner is, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So you have to be aware of that, and I think this also goes through you got to know what you want. I think a lot of
Yeah.
guys or they just don't know what they want. You know,
Less than I know.
how do you feel
I
about
think
that?
the.
How do you feel about the dating now?
I mean, it's a different time too. I was just watching some TikToks, and it's been really tough for both men and women.
That's what I've noticed. But one thing I've noticed about also is there seems to be they're combating each other. Instead
Oh.
of, everybody's fighting each other instead of just like hello, just be together. You know what I
Thing
mean?
is, what's happening is this is what they want, this is what women want, and this is what men want.
Right,
And if it doesn't work out, they don't want to be together.
right, yeah. Or I don't even think sometimes they don't think they know what they
That's
want.
tough.
You know?
And then, yeah, if you really think about, if you take out social media, hindi mangyari yun.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Yun, the dating apps, that shit ain't gonna work.
But what's funny is I talk to a lot of women, right? And they
Oh.
actually all say the same thing. They say that none of the guys go up to them. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's what they say. All the girls I talk to, they say, the guys don't go up to me. At least the guys that I want. So for me, that's it goes back to the guys kind of not being manly enough, like get out there. This is coming from girls, man. Girls are saying that you're not asking them out.
And you don't need to be comfortable to do that, right? Like when you feel like you like the girl, maybe she don't like you, but you try. You went out there and you ask her.
I'd rather try, yeah. Just say
Yeah,
it.
don't be scared.
Right.
Like shit.
What if you win? What if you win?
Yeah, you
You
never
know?
know. You never know. But have the ability to go out there and ask. If they said no, it's fine.
And know what you want, man. Like I feel like a lot of guys too just kind of just settle for whatever they can get. You know what you want, like and stick to it. In terms of attitude and how she carries herself. Or what do you want? You know what I mean? And stick to that, and don't be like, oh no, it's okay, I'll let it pass. No, like this is what you want, but also be the guy that deserves that. You know what I mean? Like be that guy that's hey, I deserve that type of, I deserve this type of life. I deserve this type of woman. You know what I mean?
And I think it's through also experience,
Yes, but I think a lot of I don't know if you read
maturity.
it, but I've seen this. It's like the men like 25 and up.
Oh.
They haven't even asked a girl out nowadays, and this is this generation. So I think, why is that? Because I think they're not developing themselves enough to go out there. Because a lot of girls are complaining, girls and guys, but from what I hear, the girls are saying that the guys don't do anything.
Yeah,
And it's on the guy to do it. I mean, if a girl asks you out, more than likely she's not the. It's
Yeah.
you want to go. You're supposed to be asking her out,
I mean, you have to have the balls, man.
of course.
Yeah, whether if you like her, then talk to her. It's pretty like if she doesn't like you, at least she knows that you like her. Doesn't hurt.
Right. Just know what you want and
Yeah.
definitely go for it, man. It's a secret right there. Girls are saying you guys don't do nothing, so do something. I also like you mentioned time, Coach, and that's a great topic as we come towards the end of the podcast. So yes, time. How would you manage your time? What's the best way to manage to be time efficient?
Time efficient. That's a good question. Well, I'll ask you that question. What do you think, Josh?
I think the best way to be time efficient is to realize that time is probably one of the most precious things, because no matter how I could have $1 trillion and still never buy back time. So I think it's you need to, again, it goes back to knowing what you want and knowing who you are and all those things, because once you do that, you won't be wasting any more time. I feel like, because I think the most important thing in life also is a flow, and how you get into the flow of life is yourself. This is the most important. If there's anything that you leave with today from this podcast, is definitely get to know yourself. We talked about so many different things and kind of here and there, but the whole point was we're here to try to make better people and help you feel, if there's anything, I'm sure by the end of this podcast, you will feel a bit lighter, happier, and definitely in a bit, you kind of know what direction you want to go.
Yeah, time, like, how I schedule my time is, it's always back to the goals. Like, anong gagawin ko, right? It could be marketing. It could be like making more money.
Have an intention with your time.
Yeah.
Have intention with your time. What are you doing with your
and
time?
family, or people that you care about. Time with your dog.
Yes.
But it's in the goals. It's like you start, because it goes from seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, years, then decades. You start with the first one, like the first in the day, like within a week. What do you want to do? What you want to accomplish within that week? And if you want to be, you want to expand that. Once you got to get used to making goals, and then as much as you can, keep it simple. If you have a lot of goals, that's good too. But you got to make sure you have to be transparent. That's what you want. And you can make changes. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to stick. You got to start from day to week to month to year. But have a goal within that's that you can reach. And then that gives you the momentum to make better decisions. Like, okay, what's my next move? But a lot of one of the sharks was mentioning, I think it was Robert, about when you're within a day, you have to have 3 things that you're able to accomplish by the end of the day, that you try to finish, and then you feel like you accomplished something. For me, it's like a day, a week, and a year. And you know what? That's been working for me. Like championships, ano yun eh. And it's crazy because these are like manifestations. The meditate, manifest. All the things that happen in my life is in my heart and the universe. Like, I told the universe, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And you have to trust it. Then give them a trust. The universe doesn't pay attention, and if you're unclear of what you want in your life, it doesn't care about that. But it does listen to everything that you're clear about, if that's what you want. It happens. Look, and it's real. It's so real that just like test it. Like, have a goal, right? Even in one day, even in 1 week, like, this is what you want. And if you stick with that, be consistent. They said 30 days. 30 days is consistent. But like, try a week, 2 weeks, but 30 day. And like, say, for instance, don't say no bad words for 30 days.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah. And your brain's going to analyze what you're thinking. And it's like, okay. And then you stop saying bad words.
Very nice.
Especially if you're in a fight. And you're live ka.
Yeah.
You're live in TV. Watch what you say, But there's times where it's like emergency and you got to talk shit. You talk shit, but because then this guy is serious. Pero there's times for that. But time to me is like, it doesn't exist, but it does count how things are moving in our lives.
I think that goes back to what I was mentioning, the flow. Once you know that you're in a good space in your life and yourself, it just becomes a flow.
Yeah.
Like you said. Like,
consistent ka eh.
Huh?
You're consistent, so the flow is there.
Yes, it has to be. Yes, consistency is also a very, very big one. That's a very good one. Good
Yeah.
approach. Actually, so we're coming out to the end, so we'll kind of I liked how you mentioned trust. So, and I like to bring this up because I think it's very, very important that we as, individuals trust ourselves. Because a lot of us don't trust our own decisions, don't trust ourselves in doing what we want to do. You know what I
What do
mean?
you think, Josh?
I think again, the trust within yourself comes from again knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You're right. Because if you don't trust yourself, that means you won't make. You're gonna second guess your decisions.
Magkasama yun lahat eh. Right? Yung
Uh-huh.
trust mo, ang confidence.
Yes.
And then, you have to know that's the decision you're making. And then trust yourself. Ano yun eh. Minsan sa environment rin.
Exactly. Environment. So yes,
Kasama
definitely.
yun eh.
Yes, and I dare to say, because now everything that we consume is within our screens. I think also a very important aspect to remember is be aware of the content and the content that you're taking in. Is it helping you? Is it making you have a different perception in the world? I think also that's also what's affecting a lot of women and men is they just consume all this, negative bullshit. You know what I mean? And they're bringing it out. You know what I mean? But careful what you consume. Consume things that will help you be better, help you put you in a better mood, not to help remind you of what you don't have and all these things like that.
But that's why you have to, like, with trust, it comes with challenges.
Yes.
Minsan you can't just trust everybody.
Yes, of course.
There's certain
yes.
people you could trust with your keys to
But
your house.
That's also
not everybody.
That goes by trusting yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't trust yourself, then you're gonna make a bad decision. You might end up in, let's say, the wrong relationship or whatever because you're not trusting yourself. And you'll be around the wrong people.
And you can you can sense it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Trust your own sense.
That all
trust it.
goes together with the flow.
Yes.
Yeah, sense, flow, trust. But trust for sure is if you don't trust yourself, you better look for help, and you need a mentor and guidance about trusting yourself, because if you
Yes.
don't trust yourself, life is gonna be really hard for you.
Yes, and I mean, and like I said, I can't imagine the difficulty of growing up now. It's a little different. So as I mentioned earlier, this podcast or this, conversations that we have is really for you guys, So I would love to know what you guys are struggling
Comment.
with. Yeah, I would love to know what you guys are struggling with, what you guys would like a bit more help with and stuff like that. Because, again, this is for you guys, for the ones who are growing up and, just find themselves a little lost. This is for you. So guy, girl, whatever, we're here.
It's about almost New Year's. What's your advice in today's podcast to both men and women about their confidence and trust?
I think go back to just again self growth. It's the ultimate way you get to know yourself, and again, the flow comes from there. The flow comes from a purity of within yourself. You kind of know everything. You know who you are, even the bad parts of it, and you could say that, oh, I know that, and I'm not going to do that again. So I think the best part.
Why? What about if it's so painful?
You have to take. I mean, that's actually a good thing. The more painful it is, or the more revolutionary it will be, the more transformative it will be, because there is an absolute difference between change and transformation. The best analogy I remember is change is like a ladder. You're on the ladder, you go to the next step, whatever. Okay, that's a change. A transformation is you're off the fucking ladder and you're seeing the whole room. So that is a transformation. I think that only comes through self-reflection, self-growth, and to being one within yourself. And then you'll access that flow where, like you said, time isn't really existing. It's kind of just flowing.
My philosophy is, kung mahirap, and if it's like our camps are tough, either you break, either you stay or you go home.
Right.
All right. So, but look, my advice to everyone, like if you're dealing with things and it's really, really tough, it's not about how difficult it is. You have to say, what if I do it?
Mm-hmm.
What
Or
if
when
I
I'm gonna
became,
do it. Yeah,
tarang,
Yes.
instead of like, oh shit, I can't do it, or
Right.
Nah, man, you're fucking doing it, bro.
Right.
And you don't need to tell that to anybody else. You just gotta tell yourself.
Right.
You have to trust yourself that's you decide to do, because in the end of the day, you have to own that. Walang ano, when people die in their beds, especially the last day of their life, and what they regret is not doing what they wanted to always do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a big.
Masakit yun.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst feeling in the world, is you didn't do what you wanted to do. Even if you didn't work out, I guarantee you still learned something.
Yeah.
You still have, let's say, long time ago, like I still have I used to do those bodybuilding shows. It wasn't my thing, and I would never do them again. But I still carry the same discipline with the food and everything until now. I still have that until now. So, I did okay with it, and, I don't do anymore, but I learned something from it, so I think that's a very important thing to do. Even if you quote unquote if you fail, so to speak, so what? You still learn knowledge. You still got something from it. It's better than failing than not doing anything. It's like, you got to take that shot, right? I can't imagine, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the clock's about to run out, and you have the ball, and you're not going to take the shot. You know what I mean? That, to me, that's the weakest guy I've ever met, man. Like, who cares if you don't make it? Fucking shoot it. You know what I mean? So I think that, on that note, we could end it on that
and then
note.
if you do miss,
it doesn't
fuck
matter.
it. They're
At
like,
least you
that's the
fucking
guy.
took the
I was
shot.
like, yeah, I am
Exactly.
the guy, motherfucker.
Because if you didn't take the shot, then you're always gonna ask yourself, shit, man, maybe I would have I could have dunked that shit. Would you wanna? Just take it.
Yeah.
Shoot it, dunk it, whatever, but just do it.
That happened to me in high school. They had the news, and they were just filming in high school, and I was just a clown, this young kid, and I was just acting up, and I didn't know they were recording. I was in the news the next day, and they were filming the whole school, and I was in TV. So the next day, I didn't know anything about that. Pasok ko sa school. Everybody's like, hey, introducing themselves to me. We saw you do. I was like, okay.
That's how
shit.
Exactly. So so definitely take that shot, right?
Yeah, take the shot.
Take the shot.
No fear.
Yes, and definitely you get to know yourself and do good for other people, not because you have to or you're getting everything, just because it's what's right, man.
Getting better mentors. Like Josh just mentioned, your environment, the people you're around, your trust, your confidence, all of that is about you growing as a person. If you don't grow, your life basically is like dead.
You're not living. Exactly.
You're not living.
You're not living
to your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's blaming anybody.
Yes.
You just have to accept the fact, like, shit, why do I need to do to. And you'll know that, because when you sit there and you think about it, you'll find something in your heart and in your mind that let me try this out and see what happens. And then you go from there. But no decision is perfect, So try, do your best. Not just try your best, do your best. And then move on to the next thing. You become great.
Thank you for that, Coach. Yes, that's very, very good. Salamat sa lahat, Coach. That was very,
You're
very
welcome.
good.
This is awesome.
Thank you for joining me today.
That was
a
awesome.
great conversation. And I will see you on practice.
Again.
I'll see you on practice.
Yeah.